You start Monday. You're at the gym at 6 a.m. You're feeling amazing. You're visualizing the best version of yourself. You're telling everyone about your new fitness journey. By Wednesday, you're not there. By Friday, you've quit. And you tell yourself the same thing you always do. I don't have enough discipline. I'm just lazy. I'm not built for this. But here's what neuroscience reveals. It's not you. It's your brain. Your brain is literally wired against forming new habits. The same brain that automatically drove you to grab coffee this morning is actively resisting your gym routine. Today, we're decoding the psychology of why new habits fail, backed by recent neuroscience studies from MIT, Stanford, and 2026 research. And more importantly, we're showing you the proven methods that work with your brain, not against it. Because understanding how habits actually form is the key to finally making them stick. If you're tired of starting habits and quitting within days, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because every video on this channel breaks down the psychology behind your behavior so you can finally change it. Now, let's understand why your brain makes habit formation so difficult. Here's how habits actually work at the neurological level. Charles Duhigg discovered something profound in his research. All habits follow the same three-step loop. Step 1, cue. Something triggers you. You see your gym bag. You finish your morning coffee. You sit down at your desk. A cue appears. Step 2, routine. Your brain responds with a behavior. You grab your shoes. You journal. You open your email. Step 3, reward. You get a payoff, endorphins, satisfaction, stimulation. Your brain records this routine created a reward. This loop repeats again and again, and something remarkable happens. Your brain learns. But here's the crucial part. Your brain is lazy, not in a bad way. It's smart lazy. Your brain automates behaviors to save energy. It's exhausting to consciously decide every single action. So what does your brain do? It shifts control from the prefrontal cortex, your conscious decision-making center, to the basal ganglia and striatum, your automatic behavior center. This is called neuroplasticity. MIT researchers discovered something fascinating back in 1999. Habits embed slowly and unconsciously. They don't form in days, they form through repetition. And once they form, something interesting happens. Your brain frees up cognitive energy. It stops using conscious effort. The habit becomes automatic. That's why you can drive home without thinking. That's why your current habits feel effortless. But here's the problem. Your brain doesn't distinguish between good habits and bad habits. Your brain just automates whatever you repeat. So the same mechanism that made your bad habits automatic, procrastination, social media scrolling, mindless eating, is the same mechanism that could make new habits automatic. But it requires understanding how to work with your brain's wiring, not against it. So why do new habits fail? If the brain just automates through repetition, why can't you stick with that gym routine? Recent psychological research from 2026 reveals the real culprits. First, skill gaps and vague goals. Get fit isn't a habit, it's a wish. Exercise 30 minutes isn't a habit, it's too vague. Your brain doesn't automate vague intentions, it automates specific behaviors in response to specific cues. But most people start with vague goals, and when the goal is vague, the brain doesn't know what to automate. So motivation carries you for a few days. Then motivation fades, and you're left with nothing. Second, identity misalignment. James Clear discovered something powerful. The strongest habits are identity-based, not outcome-based. You don't succeed at fitness by focusing on lose 10 pounds. You succeed by becoming someone who says, I am a person who works out. But here's what sabotages most people. Their self-image doesn't match the habit. You're trying to become a gym person, but your identity is sedentary person who hates exercise. Your brain resists because the habit contradicts your self-image. Your identity literally blocks the new habit from forming. Third, environmental and neurochemical sabotage. Even if your goal is clear and your identity aligns, your environment works against you. Your gym buddy cancels. Your apartment is freezing on workout mornings. Stress hits. Work gets crazy. And here's the neuroscience. Stress, low motivation, and poor self-control all weaken neural pathways. When you're stressed, your prefrontal cortex, the part that makes disciplined decisions, gets depleted. Your willpower weakens. And the dopamine circuits in your striatum that would normally reinforce the new habit are being hijacked by easier, more rewarding behaviors. Scrolling your phone gives instant dopamine. The gym is delayed gratification. Your brain chooses the immediate reward. The dopamine timeline. This is crucial. New habits initially demand effort. The dopamine circuits don't immediately strengthen. They require repetition before they automate. Recent 2026 research shows this happens over time, not in days, not even in weeks. The classic 21-day myth? Completely false. MIT studies show habit automation ranges from 18 to 254 days. The median is 59 to 66 days, but some habits take 335 days. Your brain is rewiring, but it's slow. Most people quit before their brain has finished automating the new neural pathways. They quit at week 2 when the habit still feels hard. But if they lasted 9 weeks, the habit would feel effortless. If you're stuck in the cycle of starting habits and quitting, if you feel like you lack discipline, you need to understand this science. Subscribe now because the next part shows you how to work with your brain instead of against it. Turn on notifications. This is where it gets practical. Now, let's understand why your brain makes habit formation so difficult. Let's understand exactly what's happening in your brain as you try to form a habit. The first 2 weeks, prefrontal cortex mode. When you start a new habit, your prefrontal cortex is fully engaged. This is the conscious, effortful part of your brain. It's making decisions, it's maintaining motivation, it's fighting resistance. This is exhausting. Your willpower is a limited resource, and early in habit formation, you're burning through it constantly. That's why week 1 feels hard. You're using maximum cognitive effort. Weeks 3 to 8, the transition zone. Something's starting to change. The routine is becoming more familiar. The resistance is easing slightly. But here's the neuroscience. Your basal ganglia and striatum are beginning to engage. These are your automatic brain centers. They're slowly learning the pattern, but they're not fully in control yet. So you're stuck in a weird zone. The behavior is slightly easier, but still requires conscious effort. This is where most people quit. They think it should feel automatic by now. I must be doing something wrong. But actually, they're right in the middle of the transformation. Week 9 plus, automation mode. At around 69 to 66 days, roughly 9 weeks, something clicks. The striatum fully takes over. The prefrontal cortex can finally rest. The habit feels effortless. You don't have to consciously decide to exercise. You just do it. But here's the catch. You have to reach that 9-week mark. Recent 2024 to 2026 research update. Modern neuroscience shows something interesting. There's no simple dopamine switch that flips. The brain circuits flow bidirectionally, motivation to basal ganglia to motivation. It's a complex dance, not a simple switch. This explains the resistance you feel even logically you want the habit. Your brain circuits are still bidirectional. They haven't solidified into a one-way automatic street. This is actually good news. It means the resistance is normal. It's not a character flaw. Your brain is literally being rewired. Resistance is part of the process. Now here's what actually works. 3 research-backed methods that wire new habits by working with your brain's neurology. Solution 1. BJ Fogg's microhabits method. The biggest mistake? Trying to form habits through willpower and discipline. Wrong approach. Researcher BJ Fogg proved something revolutionary. Habits form through the equation B equals MAP. Behavior equals motivation, ability, prompt. Here's how it works. Don't start with exercise 30 minutes. That's too hard. Your ability is low. Start with micro habits, absurdly small. Do 1 push-up. Floss 1 tooth. Do 2 squats. These are so tiny that ability is automatic. You don't need motivation or discipline. Then anchor this micro habit to an existing cue in your life. After I pour my morning coffee, I'll do 1 push-up. After I brush my teeth, I'll do 1 push-up. The existing habit is the cue. Your brain already automates it. So you're anchoring the new tiny habit to something already wired. Fogg's research shows this works without willpower because the new routine is too small to resist. You do it, your brain gets the reward.
the loop strengthens. Within weeks, you'll naturally do more push-ups, not because you decided to, but because the habit has automated and your brain wants more of the reward. Solution 2. Implementation intentions. Research by psychologist Gollwitzer found that specific if-then plans boost habit enactment by up to 64%. Here's how. Instead of vague intention, I'll journal daily, create an implementation intention. If I finish my morning coffee, then I'll journal for 2 minutes. The if-then structure pre-decides the behavior. Your brain doesn't have to deliberate. When the cue, coffee, happens, the routine, journaling, automatically triggers. This works because you've removed the decision-making step. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't have to choose. The behavior is pre-planned. This is powerful because it reduces cognitive load, less willpower needed. Solution 3. Identity alignment plus environment design. Remember, James Clear proved habits stick when identity aligns, but you don't have to wait to become a gym person. You start by acting like one. You do the micro-habit consistently. After 66 days of showing up, your brain doesn't just automate the behavior. Your identity shifts. I'm someone who works out becomes real. But speed up this process by designing your environment. Sleep in your gym clothes. Pack your gym bag the night before. Make the routine so convenient it becomes the path of least resistance. Recent 2025 research shows morning routines succeed 43% more than evening routines. Planning ahead lifts success odds by 64%. Why? Because you're removing friction. You're making the cue unavoidable. The combination, the 66-day protocol. Here's what research proves actually works. Week 1 to 2, use BJ Fogg's micro-habits and implementation intentions. Make it tiny and pre-decided. 0 willpower required. Week 3 to 8, this is the hard zone. Remember, resistance is normal. Your brain is rewiring. Stick with it. Week 9 plus, around 66 days, automation kicks in. The habit feels effortless. The science is clear. This formula works, but only if you reach day 66. Here's what I want from you. First, if you struggle with habit formation, if you've tried and failed 100 times, hit subscribe, because understanding the neuroscience of why you fail is the first step to finally succeeding. Second, share this with someone you know. Maybe it's your friend who keeps starting gym routines and quitting. Maybe it's your family member who can't stick with anything. Maybe it's yourself. Screenshot this and come back when you're ready to try again. Share it with someone who needs to hear it's not a character flaw, it's your brain, and your brain can be rewired. Third, drop a comment. Tell me, what habit have you tried to form and failed? Is it fitness, meditation, reading, writing? Because your answer tells me what you should try first using these methods. And maybe your experience will help someone else realize they're not alone. Thanks for watching. You now understand the neuroscience. The question is, will you use it? Pick one tiny habit, anchor it to an existing routine, commit to 66 days. That's all your brain needs. See you in the next one.